Emma, and today I am doing a routine which is going to be great for anyone who is visually impaired or blind. If you may have seen my introduction video. If not, I'll link it down below, and actually I'll link everything down below that I mentioned today. But if you haven't seen that, you probably won't know that I am actually legally blind myself. I still have a little bit of remaining, especially peripheral vision. So I am still able to follow along with Pilates or exercise routines on YouTube or videos by looking at my phone really close, but it can still be really difficult because I have to look at my phone so close, do the exercise, look at it again to see what they're doing. So I thought it'd be great to do a video which is specifically for visually impaired and blind as well, because you may struggle to also follow along with normal workout videos. So do make sure before you do this video, if you are completely new to Pilates, that you go and watch my Pilates fundamentals video, just so that you understand how to hold yourself safely and effectively first, and then come and join me on the mat. And if you haven't already, click the subscribe button down below and the bell button as well, so that you get notified of when we upload. And do give this video a like as well if you would like to see more audio visually impaired Pilates routines. So when you're ready, making sure that you're fit and healthy to be doing these exercises, come and join me on the mat or on your towel, your carpet, whatever you're doing your exercises on, and just bring yourself over onto your front into 4-point kneeling. So in 4-point kneeling, we just want to take our hands flat on the mat, underneath our shoulders, shoulder width apart. Our head, we're facing straight down towards the mat. So we're not lifting our head and looking up. We're not tucking under. We have this lovely length through the neck. We want to make sure that our knees are directly underneath our hips, hip width apart. We're not swiveling one side more than the other. And we just want to make sure our spine is nice and neutral as well. So a nice neutral spine, we're not arching, we're not sinking, and this is our starting position. So if you get any wrist pain, you can roll up your mat and just place your hands onto a towel or something more padded just to help with that. So let's start by curling our spine all the way up towards the ceiling. So I want you to create the letter C. So you'll round your spine all the way up towards the ceiling, tucking your head, looking underneath between the legs, and then starting from the tailbone to the middle, back to the upper back, we're going to sink down more into the letter U without putting too much pressure into the lower back. Let's go back the other way. Let's start with the tailbone, rippling under, so tucking your pelvis under to the middle back to the upper, back into that C shape, and sink down the opposite way, starting from the tailbone to the middle back to the head into that letter U. Let's do this a couple more times, rippling under, so you've created the letter C, tucking the head underneath, sinking back down the other way into the letter U. And at the same time, we're keeping everything nice and steady through the body. Going back the other way, into that C curve, and sinking back down. Good, nice neutral spine. And remember, we want to make sure we're breathing into the sides and the back of the rib cage, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Let's start to feel a sense of having a belt around our waist, so our core is nice and switched on. And that belt is just pulling in to about 20 or 30%. Our pelvic floor, our toilet muscles are switched on. And like I said, we're breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Just take a deep breath in. On your exhale, just take, it doesn't matter which arm, whichever arm, and just run your fingertips along your mat. So you're stretching them out nice and long in front, or that arm in front. And we're trying to keep the rest of the body steady. So I want you to imagine you've got a tray balanced on your back, And let's draw that hand back in. Switch to the other side. We exhale, reach, run the fingertips along the mat. Keep the rest of the body steady. Your arm is straight. And come back in. Let's do that with the breathing. Keep switching from right to left with the arms. So deep breath in. Exhale, reach the arm nice and long in front. Keep the fingertips in contact with the mat. Inhale, hold. Exhale, return back. Switch to the other hand or arm. Deep breath in. Exhale, reaching out nice and long. Hold. And come back. Lovely. This time, deep breath in. Exhale, run the fingertips along the mat until you can't reach your arm anymore. And then start to lift that arm up in front of you to shoulder height. And come back. Switch to the other side. Reach the fingertips along the mat. Lift the arm to shoulder height. And come back. Let's pick it up with the breathing. Deep breath in. Exhale, run the fingertips along the mat. Reaching nice and long. And come back on the inhale. Exhale to the other side. Reach. Inhale, come back. Lovely. And you should stay nice and balanced with the rest of the body. One more on each side. And switch to the other side. And come back. Just give the wrists a little release by just sitting back onto your heels. So you're resting down, your forehead can drop down into the mat. And just circle the hands around one way and back the other way, just so you're getting a little release with those wrists. Coming back up. Let's move to the legs. So we're back in the same position we was a minute ago, 4-point kneeling. Deep breath in. Exhale, this time run your feet along the mat. So your toes, it's like they're in a pointed position and you've just reached your leg right to the other end of the room. Toes are still in contact with the mat and draw that leg back in. Let's go again, deep breath in. Exhale, reach, don't wobble, hold. And exhale, come back in. Just keep switching from right to left. Good, stay nice and steady. This is great for stability and balance. Just keep switching from right to left. This time on the next one, we're going to reach nice and long, just like we did with the arms. This time we're going to lift the leg now up and away from the mat, just to about hip level, so not too high. Tap the foot back down, keep reaching the leg long. Bring the knee and fold back in. Let's switch to the other side, reaching nice and long. Lift the leg to hip level. Bring it back down. Fold the knee in. Good. Let's do that one more time on each side. Reach. Lift the leg to hip level. Tap the toes back down. Bring the knee back in. Switch to the other side. This is great for upper body as well. Tap the toes back down. Come back in. Sit back into child's pose again, where we sit back onto the heels. Give the wrists a little rotate one way and back the other way. And now we're going to put both together. So coming back up, 4-point kneeling, swimming. Belt feeling around your waist is switched on. Breathing in through the nose, out from the mouth. Let's go, deep breath in. Exhale, now run the opposite hand to leg along the mat. So the fingertips and the feet are still in contact with the mat. And then when you're ready, lift the arm to shoulder height, the leg to hip level. Tap back down, fingertips and toes first, and then pull back in. So your hand is back underneath your shoulder, knee underneath your hip. Switch to the other side, stretching out. Hand and foot is still in contact with the mat. Lift up, tap back down, draw back in. Good, let's keep switching from right to left. Opposite arm to leg, remember, lift. Lower back down, come back in. Now just keep switching at in your own time, at your own pace. And as you're doing this, I just want you to focus on keeping nice and steady with the hips, making sure your back is not sinking. So there's no arching through your back, especially as you lift through the arm and legs. So you're trying to keep that nice neutral position through the body. Let's go one more time on each side. And you may find you just want to keep the hands and the feet in contact with the mat, and that's fine too. Bringing it back down. Lovely, sit back into child's pose, give the wrist a little rotate. I don't know about you, but being visually impaired, I find that my balance isn't very good. So this is a great one just to really help with that. Lovely. When you're ready, just roll onto your side, the side where you can see or hear me best, and just roll all the way down flat onto one side. If you need a cushion for underneath your head, you can. Otherwise, you can tuck your elbow, your arm underneath so your head can rest in your arm. Or if you feel comfortable to have the underneath arm nice and reached out, you can do that as well, totally up to you. Now with the legs, let's just bring both legs slightly more towards the front corner of the mat. So both legs at the moment are straight. If you feel a little bit wobbly with this one, this exercise, or the next couple, bend your underneath legs slightly so you have a little bit more support. The top leg stays straight and that leg is reaching towards the front corner. Okay, so it's very easy in this position just to sink and relax into your mat. I need you to engage your core and almost feel like your waist is pulling away from the mat. You can imagine you've got an ice pack under there, you don't want to touch the mat, so you're pulling away. Your hip bones are facing forwards, but they're nice and stacked on top of each other as well. So there's no leaning back behind you or tilting forwards. And your top arm can just rest by your side onto your leg. If you need more support, you can place your hand just in front of your stomach or your rib cage. It is totally up to you. Okay, so let's take a deep breath in. On the exhale, I just want you to float that top leg up to hip level and just reach the leg as long as it can go. And lower back down. Now just feel, is your waist still staying nice and lifted, or is it sinking down as we do this? Let's go again, lifting up. Good, and slow to float the leg back down. It's all about control. Let's go again, deep breath in. Exhale, lift that top leg up, reaching it nice and long. And lower back down. Do you still have your pelvic floor lifted? That sense of a belt being around your waist. Good, lower back down. This time, lift the leg up to hip level, that top leg. I want you to swing the leg in front of you slightly and flex your foot like you're pushing something away from you. And just see if you can keep your balance. Swing the leg back to center, deep breath in. Exhale, point your foot, and this time swing the leg back behind you. Really good for balance. Deep breath in, go to center. Exhale, flex your foot, swing the leg in front. Deep breath in as you come back to center, point the foot, swing back. So this is side kick. So again, this is great for balance. Just keep swinging the leg back and forth. And if pointing and flexing your foot is feeling a little bit confusing or complicated, just swing the leg and have the foot nice and relaxed. But we're just focusing on control. Nothing else is moving. You want to try and keep your leg at the same height as it swings back and forth. And the bigger you make those kicks or those swings, you'll find it gets more and more challenging. Let's do that one last time with control and swinging back. Good, just have a little breather. Bring that leg down onto the bottom leg. Give your glutes a little tap out if you want to. And then reach that top leg nice and long again. The rest of the body in the same position. We're just going to start to draw circles. So I just want you to keep reaching that top leg towards the front corner of your mat. And just start to draw small circles as if your toes are the tip of a pen. And you're just drawing to the other end of the room. And you can make the circles bigger if you want to, or you can keep them as they are and go back the other way. So you should start to feel your leg getting achy, your glutes firing up. And if these exercises are not quite challenging enough, you can always repeat them with a resistance band tied just around the legs, just above the knees. And it's going to add that little bit more challenge. Let's go 2. And last one more circle. And then hug that top leg in. Have a little breather. Good. So just bring yourself up to a seated position. Before we do the other side, I just want you to come up to a nice seated position. Sit nice and tall on your sit bones. Good. So if you find it difficult to sit tall, you've got tight hips, tight hamstrings, or you just feel like you need a little boost to lift you up, you can sit on a thick book, a block, a cushion, just to give you that lift. So I have my legs crossed Here's where I feel most comfortable. You can have them crossed as well. You can reach your legs long in front of you, open them out to the side. It is totally up to you, but do have both legs equal. So don't have one tucked behind and the other one in front. Have both legs in the same position. I just want you to sit as tall as you possibly can. So imagine you're sitting against a wall and you really need to lift up, making sure you're not pushing back, slumping down or overarching. So find that length through the spine. I just want you to drop your shoulders away from your ears and just imagine now you've got your favourite drinks balanced on each shoulder. So you want to stay steady, you don't want to spill them. So keep lifting up. We're going to bring our hands together, almost like in a prayer position. This is called cathedral pose. So both hands are together. And we're just going to place the fingertips underneath your chin and then stick your thumbs out towards you so they rest onto your chest. So now your hands are in complete contact with your body. Everything's going to move as one. Just let your elbows relax by your side, your arms, and while your hands are in contact with the chin and the chest. And just take a deep breath in. And on your exhale, you're going to rotate just the upper body from the waist up to one side. Deep breath in, come back to center. Exhale, switch to the other side. Come back, deep breath in to center. Exhale, switch again. So this is great for the mid and the upper back. Just keep switching from side to side in your own time. And the hands shouldn't drift away from the body. The body shouldn't be twisting without the hands. Everything's moving as one. Good, coming back. Just keep rotating, sitting taller if you're starting to feel yourself sink down. Good. Good, deep breath in. One more to each side. Coming back to center. Switch to the other side. And coming back to center, just relax the arms down. Just take one arm and just stretch it up and over to the side. So you're just leaning over to one side, pressing your sit bones down. And you're just gonna feel a lovely stretch for your waist. Your other hand can be rested on the mat just to give you a little bit of support as you lean and stretch over. And then do the same to the other side. Just place one hand on the mat. The other arm is going to stretch up and over. You're leaning over to the side, just feeling that little stretch again for your waist. And then coming back up, sitting nice and tall. Lovely, we've got to do the leg on the other side. So make sure you're definitely doing the other side. I have a habit of accidentally doing the same leg. So just bring yourself all the way flat down onto the other side. Remember, you can have your underneath arm straight out along the mat, or you can tuck it in so your head has a little bit of support. Let's bring both legs slightly towards the front corner of the mat and bend your underneath knee if you need a little bit more support. Remember, your waist is nice and lifted, no sinking. Hips are nice and stacked. Hip bones facing forwards. And let's go for lifting our top leg. Remember, place your top arm in front if you need to as well. Deep breath in. Exhale, lifting your top leg. Reach it nice and long, just to hip level. And float back down. Let's go again, deep breath in. Exhale, lifting up to hip level. Inhale, hold. Exhale, lower. Just make sure your shoulders are not rounding or falling forwards as we do this as well. Lifting up. Good. And slow to lower. So remember, Pilates is all about control. Good. Go again. Lifting that top leg up to hip level. And lower back down. Good. Let's go one more time. Lift. Keep the leg lifted this time. Let's go ahead and flex our foot. So we're pulling our toes towards our feet. Swing the legs slightly in front of the body. Exhale. Deep breath in, bring it back to center or the front corner of the mat. And then exhale, point your foot. I'm just going to shuffle. Point your foot, take the leg back. Let's go again. Center, deep breath in. Exhale, flex your foot, swing forwards. Deep breath in, come back to center. Exhale, point your foot and go back. And at the same time, you're keeping nice and steady. Just keep swinging the leg as I talk. I talk quite a lot. So just keep swinging back and forth. And just find where you're steady. So I want you to have challenge, but I want you to make sure you're keeping control. So if you can start to swing the leg a little further, still keeping your balance, then do. But if you're finding you're wobbly as you do this, just take it back. Make those swings a little smaller, a little slower. This is my side that is much more challenging. Everyone will have a side that feels a little bit more challenging than the other. Good. Let's go for the last one. Swinging forwards, flex. Coming back to center, point your foot to go back. Coming back to the front corner of your mat. Keep the leg lifted if you want to. Otherwise, you may need a breather, hug the leg in, have a rest. But if you can, straighten the leg back out, slightly more towards the front corner, and start drawing small circles. Rest of the body is still in the same position, waist still lifted. Remember, it's like your feet or your toes are the tip of the pen. And you're drawing circles over to that corner. Let's go back the other way. So really great to get a nice rotation into that hip. Good. Breathing in through the nose, out through your mouth. Make your circles bigger if you want to. Let's go 3 and 2. Last one. Lovely. Hug that top leg in. Just have a little rest. From there, just slowly roll over onto your back. So stay the same side, just roll over. So now you're laying down on your mat. And if you need to, if you find that your chin is, or your head's tilting back a little bit too much, you can't quite tuck it in, do just rest into a cushion or again, a thick book. So we're gonna have our knees bent, our feet flat. So our feet shouldn't be too far away from us, but at the same time, they're not too close. They're just nice, comfortable distance away from us. So like I said, feet are completely flat. You just want to make sure as your knees are bent, they're staying in line with your hips. So they're not opening out, they're not knocking in. Just check your hips. Your hip bones should be nice and level. So your hips aren't tilting away from you, they're not sinking too much towards you, and they're not rocking from side to side. Just have a quick check of your back. Just take one hand and place it underneath your lower back. Have your hand flat, so your palm is on the mat. The back of the hand is on the back of your, on your spine. And just make sure you only have a tiny gap, enough for that one hand to fit underneath your back. So it's not arching anymore, but it's not completely sinking into the mat either. Just nice, comfortable space. And remember, that's your neutral spine. Just reach both arms now nice and long by your side with your palms down, and just walk your fingertips towards your feet. Just have your shoulder blades pressing down into the mat. And as I said, you want to make sure your head is not tilting all the way back, but it's not tucking all the way in. It's just nice, comfortable distance. Okay, deep breath in. On the exhale, you're going to keep your legs, so they're pretty much in right angles at the moment. You're going to pick up your right leg, keeping it in that right angle, and just float your leg up. So your knee is now directly on top of your hip, your shin is parallel to the ceiling, and the foot can just be nice and relaxed. Just check your hips again, they should still be nice and steady. Keep that right angle, deep breath in. Exhale, float the leg back down. Keep that right angle as you float down until your foot is back onto the mat. Switch to the other side, we pick the other leg up. We come up to tabletop, so that's the same position I just mentioned. Knee is completely on top of the hip, shin is parallel to the ceiling. Hold, and slow to float that leg back down. So this is an option you can stay with, especially if you feel your back arching. If you feel your back arching too much, just gently press your back a little flatter down into the mat This is called imprint, and it will just protect your back a little bit more. But if you want to, if you can stay, if you want to stay with that and carry on. Otherwise, let's take the hands behind the head. Just have your elbows not too flat on the mat, but not crunched in too much. Just nice, comfortable position. And we're just going to do some crunches. So deep breath in. On the exhale, let's drop the chin in towards the chest, peeling the upper body off the mat. Crunch up a little higher, so you're just coming up to the tips of your shoulder blades, and slow to peel back down. Let's go again. Chin to the chest, nodding in, crunching up. Now make sure nothing else moves, and lower. So if you're not able to crunch, you may want to go back to those knee folds, and lower back down. Otherwise, just give me a couple more crunches if you can. Deep breath in. Exhale, tuck the chin to the chest, start to round up. It's just like you've got an orange or something a little smaller just underneath your chin. And let's go one more. And slowly lower your head back down to the mat. We're now going to put both together. So reach your arms nice and long back by your side. Knees are bent, feet are flat. And let's come into the knee folds we did a minute ago, but add a little bit more. So deep breath in. Exhale, pick one leg up, bring it up. So again, you're in that tabletop position, knee on top of the hip, shin parallel to the ceiling. And if you can, keep that leg there as you now bring your second leg up to join the other leg. So now both legs are still hip distance apart, shins are parallel to the ceiling, and we're just holding that position. Just make sure your back isn't arching. Take your time as you slowly lower one leg down. Make sure your back doesn't arch. Use your core. That leg is back down onto the mat, foot flat. Slowly lower the other leg back down. We're back to where we started. Let's change the leg that just led. So coming up with the other leg first, tabletop. Hold. And now bring the other leg up as well. So both legs are now in tabletop, and just hold. Slowly lower one leg down at a time. Make sure your back doesn't arch. And lower that second leg. Good. Now we're going to add on more. So we're building up to an exercise called the 100. Really challenging, really good one for the core. So you can do crunches, you can do knee folds if that's working enough. Otherwise, lift the first leg up with me, tabletop. Again, that same position, shin parallel to the ceiling. Hold, lift the second leg up, reaching your arms nice and long. We're going to see if we can crunch up with the arms staying nice and long. So deep breath in, exhale, start to bring the chin to the chest, crunching up. Now once you've crunched up to the tip of your shoulder blades, if you can, lift your arms away from the mat and reach them nice and long, like you're trying to reach your fingertips past your toes. And then slowly lower the upper body back down, lower the arms. Your legs are still both in tabletop if you can, but if it's too much, lower the legs down. Let's go again. Slowly coming up, reach those arms nice and long. Palms are facing down and lower back down. So this is another option you can stay with. Now, if you want to build up even more, we're going to crunch up, reach the arms nice and long. And I just want you to imagine you're now splashing the arms into water. So we're just going to do little pulses. So like you're just pulsing up and down. We're making sure the rest of the body isn't moving. And your breathing is, breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, breathe out. That's 1. We're going to see if we can do this 9 more times. So again, your wrists are not limp, they're nice and strong. Your arm is moving as 1 as you're splashing or just patting something. If this feels too much, lower the legs down or lower 1 at least. And you may even want to lower your head down and do the arms on their own, but keep your core nice and strong. If it's not challenging enough, squeeze your legs together and straighten your legs out nice and long, so it's even more challenging. We should be more than halfway by now. Keep that core again nice and strong. Can you crunch up any higher? Maybe you need to rest down. Let's go last couple of times. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, breathe out. Last time, breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, breathe out. Now, slowly lower the head and the arms down to the mat. Your legs are still in tabletop. Lower one leg down at a time, keeping that control through your core. Lower the second leg, and then come into a lovely full body stretch. Reach your arms nice and long, reach your legs nice and long. Just imagine you're on a stretcher or you're laying on your bed, just having a nice big stretch. So it's like someone is pulling you to each end of the room. Good, let's finish with our last exercise. So bend your knees again so your feet are flat, just like we was before. But the only difference with this one is we want to step our feet in just a little bit closer this time. So our heels are more underneath our knees. So not as far out, just smaller than a right angle. We want to reach our arms by our side again, nice and long. The rest of the body is in the same position as before, hips nice and steady. And we're going to do a pelvic curl, or shoulder bridge as we call it. So take a deep breath in, and as we take that inhale, just rock your pelvis towards you, completely flatten your back onto the mat, and just hold. And then release back to that neutral position, that tiny gap underneath your waist, underneath your back. Deep breath in, flatten your back again. Hold. And release. So this is layer 1. Layer 2, we're going to do that again, flatten your back into the mat, but this time, slowly lift your tailbone up and off of the mat, then your middle back. So you're lifting your pelvis, your hips completely off of the mat. And we're just going to hold. And then slowly roll back down. So let your middle back touch down first. Keep tucking your pelvis under. Slowly to the lower back. And then your tailbone. And then slowly let your spine and your pelvis go back to that neutral position. Let's go again. Deep breath in, flatten the back. Tilt the hips towards you. This time start to lift up a little higher and start to feel your glutes engage here as well. So you should be feeling your lower abs working. Hold. And then slowly roll back down piece by piece. Your spine almost ripples. I like to imagine that there's a tide and the tide comes in, so you roll away from it. And then the tide comes back out. And goes back out and you roll away. At the same time, our feet are still flat on the mat. Our knees are staying in line with our hips and our arms are still nice and long by our side. Flatten the back, let's roll up again. So see if you can come all the way up this time. So this time, we're gonna see if we can come up to a full bridge. So we're resting up onto our shoulders, not our neck. And we've now lifted our hips up so our knees to our shoulders have a nice long straight line, and you should feel your hips opening here as well. If this feels too much, don't come up as high. Let's start to roll down. Upper back first touches the mat. Then the middle back. Then the lower, your pelvis is still tucked under. Your tailbone. And then release back to neutral. Let's go a couple more times. Flatten the back. Exhale. Ripple up. Coming up into that bridge, you feel your hips opening. You have that straight line from your knees all the way to your shoulders. Arms are still by your side, palms into the mat. And let's roll all the way down, upper back to middle to lower, coming back to neutral. Let's go one more time, flatten the back. Tilt the pelvis in towards you, start to lift up, feeling that stretch through the hips. Feeling your glutes fired up, your core nice and strong. And let's roll down, upper back to middle to lower, back to neutral. Lovely. Just hug your knees into your chest. Hold on to your shins so you're curled up into a ball. Keeping your head and your shoulders down. Just have a little rock from side to side, back and forth. Just a little release stretch. Place one foot down at a time. Come back into a nice full body stretch. Reach the arms, reach the legs nice and long.
Just feel that through the entire body. Breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth. Just lock your fingers together. So just slide your fingers into each other. Just turn your palms so they're facing up to the ceiling and just push your palms up to the ceiling, just rounding your shoulders off of the mat. And then drop the shoulders back down to the mat. Take your arms, still in that locked finger position, just up and over your head. Good, and just take yourself back into that full body stretch. Good. Just slowly place your hands down into the mat. Start to roll yourself up to a nice seated position, taking your time to come back up into a nice comfortable position. Well done everyone. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it was descriptive enough, and it's my first time, even though I am visually impaired myself, it's my first time actually doing more of an audio Pilates, because most of my clients are actually have full vision. So let me know how it was. Let me know if you'd like to see any more Pilates, audio Pilates on this channel, and I'll be sure to do some more. If you want to do some stretches as well, I do have a stretch and relaxation video linked down below as well. But if you do need something that's more accessible, if you are visually impaired or blind and you find it's difficult to follow along with that, let me know, because I can do another one as well, which I do want to do, so that'll be up soon. Other than that, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.